is the black man, as far as the matriarchy is concerned, from the matriarchy's perspective, okay, which is probably 70% of black people, is the black man simply, honestly, going back all the way back to slavery, the sexualized buck?
Hmm.
His job is just to come over, be with the woman, get her pregnant. It's good sex, mind blowing sex. He is sexualized. Oh, he's so fine. Oh, he's so this. Oh, he's so that. But there's never this desire that he's actually going to stay. And through that, there is a sexualized desire for the black man. But at the same time, there's this deep embedded hate,
Hmm.
loathing of who the black man really is. So, do you believe that through the matriarchy's eyes, the black man, like I said, sexualized, but almost in the same sentence, he's hated?
Hmm. I do think there are black women that can't stand black men for whatever reason. I do think there can be a deep seated hatred. I think it could go back to slavery. I think it could be the impact of feminism on the black woman's mind and joining that movement. I think it could be a lot of different things. Um, yes, I do think there are some black women in the matriarchy who don't like who want black men to be in their place and stay in their place and like you said just be someone that makes babies, that's someone that they procreate with, but then that's it. We're not marrying you, we're not moving on to have you lead us. You stay in your place and we'll call you when we want you, and that's it. But I also want to do this caveat because I don't think it was always like that. When you look at the civil rights era, or when you look at after slavery, marriage rates were up. When you look at after slavery, and when you look at pre second wave feminism, black women were the most married women in America. And at that time, black men led the households. Black men had a position. They had, I believe they were the heads of the house. They were respected. Something happened though between, you could blame welfare, you can blame feminism, you can blame the crack epidemic, you can blame many causes, but something happened where the black woman took the mantle of leadership from black men, and that's when the matriarchy really started. Because so can I say there's always been a matriarchy from slavery? I don't see evidence of that. I do see families being torn apart and stuff, but I also do see a time where the black community was strong, as in there were marriages, black children were growing up in a two-parent married home, black men were the heads of the household, gender roles were there was a respect, there was something, and both black men and both black women had their own issues, but they were able to set that aside for the greater good of their children. So that was there, but I do believe that there some way, some program, something happened where black men left their post, or they were not in their post anymore as the heads. Black women started to take over and have basically held that for the longest time. I do believe there are some black men who want to take that back, but are met with a lot of scrutiny from some black women when they try to do that. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I know the devil is a liar and he does all kinds of things. He is the author of confusion. So I definitely can say it's spiritual warfare. From Adam and Eve, Genesis 3:16 basically says that you will want to rule over your husband, but he will rule over you. So the gender wars that we're seeing today have been around since the beginning of time. God said it would happen, that women would want to be out of place and be leaders and be heads of households, or to dominate the man, but it's simply not how God wants it to be. So I think it's that's the core of everything. But I do believe that there are some black women who have deep seated hate against black men. I do think there are some black men who have deep seated hate against black women. And unfortunately, there's so much infighting and back and forth that is making the community worse, instead of us trying to put those differences aside, or at least hear each other out to figure out how we can make a solution and realize that we're better together than apart. So to answer your question, yes, I do believe that the matriarchy has become harmful when you're telling black men that they can never get back into their position as leaders, and you're doing everything you can to push them out and only focus on your issues and only say that this is what matters. This is how we want to live our lives. We only want to use you for this, and that's it. And as women, we wouldn't like to just be used for sex. We don't want to be used just to make babies. We don't want to be used for just that. So why would we want to do that to black men? I think it's a lot of things that can be talked about, how we got to this place, why it's hurting us, and it's just going to take us really hearing each other out to even come up with a solution.
Why would black women still want this marker, this label of being strong and independent?
It's a badge of honor. It's the only badge of honor that I think black women feel like is the biggest thing. Not being a mother, not being a wife. Again, a lot of black women don't know what it means to be a wife, don't know what it means to grow up in stability. So when you grow up in struggle, it's almost a badge of honor. It's kind of like hip hop. Some of the foundation of hip hop is struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a badge of honor when you have this guy who lived in the projects, made it out the projects, and now is a millionaire. So many rappers have that story, or someone that is an athlete. They grew up in a single mother home, and now they are a famous basketball player, like a LeBron James and stuff like that. It's a badge of honor. The struggle has become a badge of honor for a lot of black people. That's all that they can identify with. Now, I don't want to. There are black people who grew up in two-parent married homes. There are black people who grew up in the suburbs. I'm one of them, so I never
Mm-hmm.
experienced the struggle. I did not experience the struggle. I did not grow up in a two-parent home, but I did grow up in the suburbs. I want to clarify that. But I
Mm-hmm.
did not experience the struggle of poverty in that way. And so to some black women, that seems to be the only way black women are being praised is she's a strong, independent black woman. They're not saying she's a lovely, sweet, joyful person, black woman. That's not being said. What seems to be the pinnacle is strong, independent. And when you hear it over and over again, and when you see so many people take it on as a badge of honor, that's what some people aspire to. As long as I'm strong, I'm doing it on my own. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
single black woman who don't have a man. I don't need a man because I have my own education. I have this and I have that. That is that's the programming that a lot of black women have grown up under. And I think that's the issue. That is the main issue. Again, as I said before, culture has everything to do with how we view things, how our mindset is, and how we live our lives. And that is what we have seen as black women. I don't see black women even on TV or online or at award shows. They're not getting applause. There's no wife awards for black women. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not seeing black women get a trophy. Homemaker, housewife of the year. You know, it's so funny. There's this forum called the Eagle Forum. And the head of the Eagle Forum was this conservative lady who actually helped strike down the ERA movement in the 70s from the radical feminists. You know, she was saying that if you allow this to be passed in Congress, then women will be drafted and all of this stuff. And I actually like her. I look up to her a lot. But I follow her YouTube channel, and it's not much on there. She's passed away. She was like in her 80s or 90s, but the organization still goes on. On their channel, they uploaded a few months ago the Homemaker Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And a homemaker is a housewife, a stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom who takes care of her children, for those who may not know. And they were white women. It was mostly white women, and they were applauding. And it was like the homemaker of the year, Shelley Fields or whoever. And she goes up there and she gets her award. Now, why is it that there's an award? No, there's not an award for biggest butt. This is
Mm-hmm.
not, this is not the most best singer. This is not the best person who can dribble or rap. Like black people talent as far as like arts, that's our field. Athletics, that's our field. Fine. But this is for women who are married. The Married Woman Awards. And she gets the award for Homemaker of the Year. The woman who takes care of her house the best, who is the best wife. She got the award for that. That's unheard of in our community. We can't even think of that. I've never even heard of that. That was the first time I heard that there was a homemaker award. you know? And so I think that's the issue. It's the culture. We don't have a culture of marriage. We don't have a culture. So all these other communities could be doing what they are doing, but we're in our bubble of, okay, single motherhood. We are in our bubble of strong, independent black women. That is the only accolades that we see. We're either getting praise for being a strong, independent single woman or a strong, independent single mother or
Mm-hmm.
someone who sings well, someone who has the nicest body, stuff like that. Like that's what we're getting awarded for on a mainstream level. And we're not getting awarded for being a good wife, being a good mother like other cultures and communities. And I think that's why the cycle continues because we don't have any other examples in the mainstream and being pushed that are positive. And I think it's gotten worse because I do feel like at least in the 90s, you had the Cosby Show, you had Family Matters, you had, the Fresh Prince, you had black couples who are successful with children and they were
Mm-hmm.
married. You had at least those shows to counter some of the foolishness. Not to say that it was always great in the 90s or 70s or whatever. I'm not saying that, but at least there was something. You had the Jeffersons, a married couple. You had these things. Now I can't even point to a show. I can't point to many things, even online, that's happening right now, or content creators that are huge, that are big, that are blowing up in the black community that black women can look at and it's like, wow, that's a great wife. That's a great mother. I want to be like that. That are being pushed. The biggest, the biggest the biggest woman in the world right now, one of the biggest women who's got lots of controversy around her because of what she does, but she is a homemaker. She's a white woman, and her name is her thing is Ballerina Farms. She's a trad wife, even though she doesn't consider herself that. But she homesteads. She has a farm. She has like 7 children, and she just documents her life. She's feeding the cows. She's out there making sourdough bread, like all of those traditional chat wife tropes that we see online. But she has 10 million followers and she's a white woman. Now, of course, there's feminists that don't like her lifestyle. And then there's people that love her lifestyle. But 10 million for a white woman that is basically a homemaker, a stay-at-home mom who homeschools all of her children, who watches her children, who makes food, who takes care of her husband, who, you know, uh, yeah, that lady is one of the biggest people on social media right now, and she's a white woman. Where is our equivalent to that in the black community? That we can say, where's the black woman who's a homemaker with 7 children who is just, living that life in that way?
I'm gonna put my hand up so I can
Go
ask a
ahead.
question.
Go
Okay, so I can
ahead.
ask a question.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm gonna say, right? Have
What
you
you gonna
thought about
say?
what I'm about to say?
What you gonna say?
Okay. We talk about this when there's a need and then somebody identifies the need,
Hmm.
then that is basically lining up with someone who needs to take the need and run with it. So I think you should come up with the P31 award given to the best black,
Oh, that's a good idea.
mom. Okay. And that could be with your channel, and I will invest in you. If you need a little bit of money to buy the award for the first time, or even go to, even if it's in Seattle, I will invest. I got a camera. I will go out. I will videotape you and her doing an interview, and then you can put it out there and you can make it an annual event. Okay, where maybe you take the top 5 women, maybe they have different categories, where one is a traditional mom, one is more of a boss mom, where she's still married, but she has her company. Maybe another woman is the 50-50 mom, but she's still trying to do it. And you can just come up with your categories, and we'll come up with an award. Be the P31U award, and let's make it happen.
I love that.
Let's make the narrative a real narrative.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hear what you're
and
saying.
and because the bottom line is, and that's the whole thing. Like, even with me, what I try to do with the speed dating and stuff, I have to be true to the mantra I put on the screen.
Mm,
If I care about actually getting people married, I have to act like it.
mm,
Some people are out here, they say they care about black relationships, but every single conversation they have tears down black relationships. And it's
mm-hmm.
unfortunately that those are the ones that get the most attention. But we have to be God's hands and feet
Mm.
in the earth. and do what we can, honestly, to stop Armageddon. Because if we don't figure it out, Jesus is gonna come, and we don't want to be here when Jesus comes. That's not gonna be, what we want. We laugh about that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm ready for Jesus. No, you're not. You're not ready for
No,
Jesus to come in. You're
no.
not ready, bro.
Only God can judge me. Okay.
Okay, you don't want Jesus judging. So we need to keep him in heaven.
At least for now, because
Basically,
we
at
got
least for
some work
now.
to do. We got some work. Give us the help, Lord.